Welcome to the Deep Sleep channel. We're so glad you're here tonight, ready to rest and drift into sleep. My name is, well, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you're settling in, getting comfortable, letting the world around you fade away. Close your eyes if you'd like, or let them rest half closed, soft and unfocused. Tonight we're going to take you on a journey, a long journey. A very long journey, actually, one that spans 165 million years. Imagine yourself standing on a world very different from the one you know. The air is warmer, the sky is a different shade. The continents are arranged in unfamiliar patterns. And all around you, in the trees and on the ground and in the waters, there are creatures unlike anything alive today. This is the world of the dinosaurs. A world that lasted for 165 million years. To put that in perspective, that's longer than the time between the extinction of dinosaurs and today. The age of dinosaurs was not a moment in time. It was an era so vast that it dwarfs human history into insignificance. For most of that time, dinosaurs ruled. They were the dominant creatures on Earth. They evolved into thousands of different forms, adapting to different environments, developing extraordinary features, becoming the largest and most successful land animals that have ever existed. And then, in a moment, a geological blink, it all changed. But that ending is still far away. Tonight, we're going to drift backward through time. We're going to watch as dinosaurs emerged, evolved, diversified, and eventually disappeared. We're going to meet some of the most remarkable creatures that have ever lived. So settle in, let yourself relax, and let's journey together into deep time. The Triassic period, the beginning. We're going to start our journey about 252 million years ago. This is the beginning of the Triassic period, and the world is recovering from a catastrophe. About 3 million years before this, there was an extinction event so severe that it wiped out over 90% of all life on Earth. The oceans were nearly dead. The land was barren in many places. Life had to rebuild itself from nearly nothing. Imagine the world at this time. The continents are arranged very differently than they are today. There's a supercontinent called Pangaea. Almost all the land on Earth is connected into one massive landmass. The center of this supercontinent is dry, hot, almost desert-like. The coasts are wetter. The oceans, there's one great ocean surrounding Pangaea called Pangaea, are vast and deep. The atmosphere is different too. There's more carbon dioxide than there is today, much more. This creates a greenhouse effect. The planet is warm, very warm. The climate is tropical even in regions that would normally be cooler. There are no ice caps at the poles. The entire planet is warmer than Earth is today. The vegetation of the Triassic is alien to us. There are no flowering plants, not yet. There are no grasses, no trees with broad leaves like the oaks and maples we know. Instead, the world is dominated by conifers, pine-like trees. There are ferns, some of them growing to enormous sizes. There are cycads, strange plants that look almost like palms, but are actually very different. The forests are green, but they're a different kind of green than what we're used to. Life is resilient, and over millions of years, new creatures began to emerge. In the warm climate of the Triassic world, forests grew. Small animals scurried through the undergrowth, and gradually, larger creatures began to dominate. The world of the early Triassic doesn't look like our image of the dinosaur era. It's dominated by other reptiles, creatures called synapsids, and other forms that aren't quite dinosaurs yet. The dinosaurs existed, but they were small. They weren't the dominant creatures. They were marginal. They were waiting. Imagine a world where the sky belongs to pterosaurs, flying reptiles that aren't dinosaurs though they're closely related. The land belongs to creatures we wouldn't recognize as dinosaurs. And in the shadows and underbrush, the first dinosaurs are beginning to evolve. As we move deeper into the Triassic, the world is slowly changing. The early Triassic is hot and dry, but as millions of years pass, the climate becomes somewhat more humid. Monsoon patterns develop. In some regions, the rains are intense and seasonal. In others, it's still dry for most of the year. The oceans are slowly beginning to recover from the extinction event. Life in the seas is becoming more diverse. The continents are still locked together in Pangaea, but they're beginning to move. Vast distances separate the interior of the supercontinent from the coasts. The temperature gradient, the difference between the hot interior and the slightly cooler coasts, creates wind patterns and weather systems unlike anything on modern Earth. And as the Triassic continues, the climate trends slightly warmer. Sea levels are rising as the glaciers at the poles melt away. In some areas that were dry land, shallow seas begin to creep in. New habitats are created, new opportunities for life. One of the earliest recognizable dinosaurs is Eoraptor. This creature, discovered in Argentina, is small, only about 3 feet long. It's bipedal, meaning it walks on 2 hind legs. It has sharp teeth and claws. To our eyes, it might look more like a strange bird than what we think of as a dinosaur. But it has something crucial. It has the body structure that would define dinosaurs for the next 165 million years. The key feature that made dinosaurs successful was something we often overlook. It wasn't size, it wasn't teeth or claws, it was posture. Most reptiles have legs that sprawl out to the sides of their bodies, like a lizard. This limits how fast they can move and how large they can grow. But dinosaurs had a different arrangement. Their legs were positioned beneath their bodies, like mammals. This meant they could walk upright, they could move efficiently, they could grow much larger than other reptiles could. This single adaptation, legs under the body instead of splayed to the sides, was the foundation for everything that would follow. Let's move forward in time. We're still in the Triassic, perhaps 230 million years ago. The dinosaurs are beginning to diversify. The Triassic is becoming the age of dinosaurs, though it takes millions of years for them to truly dominate. One of the most fascinating early dinosaurs is Plateosaurus. This creature is much larger than Eoraptor, perhaps 25 feet long. It's a herbivore, a plant eater, and it's one of the first dinosaurs to develop a size advantage. Plateosaurus has a long neck, not as long as the sauropods that would come later, but significant. It can reach higher into the trees than other creatures, accessing leaves that smaller animals can't reach. This is an evolutionary advantage. More food, less competition. But Plateosaurus faces a problem that all large herbivores face. How do you eat enough plant matter to sustain a large body? The answer lies in the structure of its digestive system. It has a large, simple stomach, like a pouch. Food goes in, it sits there, bacteria break it down over time. Plateosaurus can eat large quantities of low-nutrition plants and let its digestive system process them slowly. This is a strategy that works. Plateosaurus spreads across the world. It's one of the most successful dinosaurs of its time. But the Triassic is still a world of experimentation. Different body plans are being tried. Some work, some don't. Evolution is testing different strategies, and the ones that succeed multiply and spread. Let's think about another remarkable Triassic dinosaur, Herrerasaurus. This creature is more like what we think of as a dinosaur should be. It's a predator. It's bipedal, with powerful hind legs and smaller front legs with sharp claws. It has teeth designed for tearing meat. It's built for hunting. Herrerasaurus is about 10 feet long, which makes it a significant predator for its time. In a world of small creatures and early herbivores, Herrerasaurus is an apex predator. It hunts the smaller dinosaurs and other creatures. Let's move further into the Triassic. We're approaching the end of this period, about 200 million years ago. The dinosaurs are becoming more successful. They're increasing in diversity, but they're still not the undisputed rulers of the world. The world is still relatively balanced between dinosaurs and other creatures. Then something happens. Another extinction event. Not as severe as the one at the beginning of the Triassic, but significant enough to reshape the world. Massive volcanic eruptions change the climate, species die off, the competitive landscape shifts, and in the aftermath, dinosaurs find themselves with less competition. Many of the creatures that were competing with them are gone. The age of dinosaurs is about to truly begin. The Jurassic period, the age of giants. And now we cross into the Jurassic period. We're about 201 million years ago. The world is different. The continents have shifted. The climate is warmer and more humid. Forests are dense. Ferns and conifers dominate. There are no flowering plants yet. That won't happen until later. The world is a realm of green, of giants, of a different kind of life. But let's understand this world more deeply. Pangaea has broken apart. The supercontinent is no longer intact. Europe and Asia are separating from the rest. The Atlantic Ocean is opening up, slowly widening, creating new ocean basins. The Tethys Ocean is still there, a tropical sea connecting different parts of the world. Africa is beginning to drift away from Europe and South America. The climate is changing as a result. The interior of the remaining landmass is no longer as isolated as it was in Pangaea. Ocean currents can bring moisture into formerly dry regions. The world is becoming more humid overall. Rainfall is increasing. The monsoonal patterns of the Triassic are becoming more pronounced. The atmosphere still has high levels of carbon dioxide, creating a greenhouse effect that keeps the planet warm. But the Jurassic is slightly cooler than the Triassic was, though still much warmer than the modern Earth. The climate is more stable, more predictable. The wild extremes of the Triassic, the droughts and heat waves, are becoming less severe. The vegetation is changing too. The strange, alien forests of the Triassic, dominated by cycads and conifers and giant ferns, are giving way to slightly more familiar forests. Conifers are still dominant, ferns are still common, but now the conifer forests are interspersed with ginkgos, strange trees with fan-shaped leaves. There are still no flowering plants, but the vegetation is becoming more diverse. The seas have recovered from the Triassic. The oceans are now rich with life. There are ammonites and belemnites, extinct relatives of modern squid and nautiluses. There are fish, both large and small. There are marine reptiles, plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs, that have returned to the sea, adapted perfectly to living in water. And on the land, with less competition from non-dinosaurs, with abundant plant life, with a warm and stable climate, the dinosaurs are thriving. And the dinosaurs have inherited the Earth. This is the period that most people picture when they think of dinosaurs. This is the era of the giants. One of the most iconic dinosaurs of the Jurassic is Brachiosaurus. Imagine standing next to Brachiosaurus and looking up, and up, and up. This creature is approximately 85 feet long. It weighs roughly 80 tons. Its front legs are longer than its hind legs, an unusual feature for dinosaurs, and one that allows it to reach higher into the trees. Its neck is tremendously long, with a small head at the end that seems almost comical in proportion to the rest of the body. How does such a creature even exist? How does it support its own weight? How does its heart pump blood all the way up that impossibly long neck to reach the brain? These are questions that paleontologists have puzzled over. The answer lies in the structure of Brachiosaurus's bones. They're not solid, they're hollow, full of air sacs connected to the lungs. The bones are arranged in a way that maximizes strength while minimizing weight. It's an engineering marvel, evolved over millions of years of selection for size. Brachiosaurus is a sauropod, one of the long-necked, long-tailed herbivores that dominate the Jurassic landscape. But there are many kinds of sauropods, each slightly different, each adapted to slightly different ecological niches. There's Diplodocus, which is even longer than Brachiosaurus, up to 100 feet, but lighter, with shorter front legs. Diplodocus's neck is also long, but it's whip-like, designed to swing side to side, reaching leaves in a wider arc. There's Apatosaurus, formerly called Brontosaurus, a creature that's somewhere between Brachiosaurus and Diplodocus in form. There's Titanosaurs, a group that will become even larger in later periods. What's remarkable about all these creatures is that they're all herbivores. They don't hunt, they don't fight each other for kills. Instead, they compete for vegetation. And the way they compete is by being able to reach higher, to access leaves that smaller creatures can't reach. Each sauropod has a different neck angle, a different body shape, allowing it to exploit slightly different parts of the forest. This is evolution's answer to the question, how many giant herbivores can exist in one ecosystem? The answer is many, if they have slightly different feeding strategies. But the Jurassic isn't ruled only by herbivores. There are predators too. One of the most fearsome is Allosaurus. Allosaurus is a theropod, a bipedal predator. It's much smaller than the sauropods, but compared to anything alive today, it's enormous, about 28 feet long, weighing nearly 2 tons. It walks on powerful hind legs with a long tail for balance. Its front legs are small but armed with sharp claws. Its teeth are serrated, designed for tearing meat. Allosaurus is an active hunter. Unlike T-Rex, which some scientists think might have been a scavenger, Allosaurus is clearly built for pursuit. It's fast, it's agile. It hunts the sauropods and other large herbivores. There's evidence that Allosaurus might have hunted in packs. Fossil sites show multiple Allosaurus individuals around a single sauropod kill. This suggests coordinated hunting, one of the most sophisticated behaviors we see in dinosaurs. But Allosaurus also has a vulnerability. It's not as large as the biggest sauropods. A full-grown Brachiosaurus would be a dangerous prey item. Even an adult Diplodocus could potentially defend itself or injure an attacker. So Allosaurus likely focuses on younger sauropods or on other prey items. Let's think about another remarkable Jurassic dinosaurs, Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus is an ornithischian dinosaur, a bird-hip type. It's a herbivore, but unlike the sauropods, it's not built for reaching high. Instead, it's built differently. It's lower to the ground, it has a smaller head, and most distinctively, it has 2 rows of large bony plates running down its back. What were these plates for? Scientists have debated this for a long time. Defense, temperature regulation, sexual display, probably some combination of these things. The remarkable thing about Stegosaurus is that it also has spikes on its tail, 4 sharp, pointed spikes. This tail is a weapon, and Allosaurus attacking a Stegosaurus would have to be careful of that spiked tail. Stegosaurus represents an evolutionary innovation, the development of defensive structures, not just physical strength, but specialized adaptations for defense. This is a strategy that will become increasingly common as dinosaurs evolve. Let's think about another remarkable creature of the Jurassic, Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is one of the most important dinosaurs ever discovered, and it's important precisely because it's not entirely a dinosaur in the way we think of dinosaurs. Archaeopteryx is small, about the size of a crow. It's bipedal, it has teeth, but it also has feathers. It has wings, it has the skeletal structure of a theropod dinosaur, but it has the features of a bird. For a long time, Archaeopteryx was considered the missing link, the creature that proved dinosaurs evolved into birds. Modern science has revealed that the relationship is more complex. Many theropod dinosaurs had feathers. Many small theropods were closely related to birds. Archaeopteryx is important, but it's not unique in being feathered. What Archaeopteryx does show us is that the line between dinosaur and bird is blurry. It's an evolutionary continuum. The features that make a bird, feathers, hollow bones, a certain body structure. These evolved gradually in theropod dinosaurs. At some point we started calling them birds instead of dinosaurs. But it's an arbitrary line. In fact, modern birds are dinosaurs. They're the surviving lineage of theropod dinosaurs. When we see a crow or a pigeon or an eagle, we're looking at a dinosaur. The dinosaurs never went extinct, they evolved. But that's getting ahead of our story. For now, let's simply marvel at Archaeopteryx, this creature that shows us the connection between the reptilian and avian worlds. Let's move further into the Jurassic. This creates a powerful greenhouse effect. The planet is warm, warmer than the Jurassic at the beginning of the period. Deserts exist, but they're smaller than you might expect. Tropical forests extend much further toward the poles than they do today. But something remarkable happens as the Cretaceous progresses. New plants are evolving. For the first time, flowering plants, angiosperms, begin to appear in the fossil record. At first they're rare, but over millions of years they spread. By the end of the Cretaceous, flowering plants are becoming common. Forests that were once uniform conifer groves are being invaded by flowers, shrubs with leaves, new forms of plant life. This is a revolution in plant life. Flowering plants are more efficient, more diverse, more specialized than the plants that came before, and they're going to transform the world. The vegetation is changing dramatically throughout the Cretaceous. Early in the period, it still looks somewhat like the Jurassic. Conifers and ferns dominate. But by the middle of the Cretaceous, flowering plants are becoming more common, and by the end, flowering plants are the dominant form of vegetation in many regions. The seas have changed too. The marine reptiles of the Jurassic, the plesiosaurs and ichthyosaurs, are still there, but new forms are evolving. Mosasaurs, large, powerful marine predators, are becoming common. Fish are becoming more diverse. It's a different ocean than it was 80 million years before. And on the land, with this changing world of new plants, new opportunities, new ecological niches being created, the dinosaurs are responding with their own diversity explosion. This is the period of specialization. This is when dinosaurs develop the most extreme features, the most specialized adaptations. One of the most remarkable is Iguanodon. Iguanodon is large, about 33 feet long. It's an ornithischian, a herbivore. But what makes Iguanodon special is its hands. Each hand has 5 fingers, and one of those fingers, the thumb, is modified into a sharp spike. What was this spike for? Possibly for defense, possibly for stripping leaves from branches, possibly for social signaling, showing off to other iguanodons, probably some combination. But the spike is just one feature. Iguanodon also has sophisticated teeth that are continuously replaced throughout its life, arranged in batteries that allow it to grind tough plant material. It has a long, powerful tail. It can walk either on 4 legs or on 2 legs, depending on the situation. Iguanodon is an experimental design. It's trying different strategies, and it's successful. Fossil evidence shows that Iguanodon is one of the most widespread dinosaurs of the early Cretaceous. But let's think about another group that's becoming dominant, the ceratopsians. Ceratopsians are hornless and horned dinosaurs. They have frills on the back of their skulls, they have beaks, they're herbivores. One of the early ceratopsians is Psittacosaurus, a small bipedal creature. But as the Cretaceous progresses, ceratopsians get larger and develop more elaborate horns and frills. The classic ceratopsian is Triceratops, but Triceratops doesn't appear until the very end of the Cretaceous. Before it, there are dozens of other ceratopsians, each with different horn and frill arrangements. There's Styracosaurus, with a large nose horn and multiple spikes radiating from its frill. There's Pentaceratops, with 5 horns, 3 main ones plus 2 smaller ones on the cheeks. There's Chasmosaurus, with a large thin frill and smaller horns. What's fascinating about these creatures is their diversity. They're all ceratopsians, but each one is different. It's as if evolution is experimenting with different combinations of horns and frills, testing which arrangements work best for different environments or social situations. Many scientists believe that these horns and frills were used in social signaling, like the antlers on deer or the manes on lions. Different species, different sexes within species, different ages all had different horn and frill shapes. These features communicated status, identity, and readiness to breed. Speaking of extraordinary features, let's talk about the ankylosaurs. Ankylosaurs are the armored dinosaurs. They're herbivores, covered from head to tail in bony plates and spikes. They look like mobile fortresses. One of the most impressive is Ankylosaurus itself, which gives its name to the group. Ankylosaurus is about 35 feet long. Its entire body is encased in armor, overlapping bony plates set in the skin. Its back has rows of spikes. Its tail is modified into a heavy club, a solid mass of bone at the end that could be swung at attackers. Imagine being an Allosaurus or T-Rex and encountering an Ankylosaurus. You can't bite it effectively. It's armored. You can't flip it over. It's too heavy and too low to the ground. Your best option is to avoid it. But Ankylosaurus has a trade-off. It's slow. It's heavy. It can't run away. Its defense strategy is to be essentially impenetrable, to outlast any attacker. Different ankylosaurs have different arrangements of spikes and armor. Some have more elaborate frills on their sides, some have longer tail clubs, some are larger, some smaller. But all of them follow the same basic strategy: bulk, be too tough to eat. Let's talk about another group of dinosaurs that really came into their own in the Cretaceous, the theropods. In the Triassic and Jurassic, theropods were the primary predators. Allosaurus was the king of the Jurassic. But in the Cretaceous, theropods diversify in remarkable ways. There's Compsognathus, a tiny theropod, only about 3 feet long, that hunts small lizards. There's Oviraptor, a theropod with a distinctive high, arched crest on its head. For a long time, paleontologists thought oviraptors were egg thieves, stealing eggs from nests. More recent evidence suggests they were caring for their own eggs, building nests, possibly sitting on them to keep them warm. There's Velociraptor, a small theropod about 6 feet long, with a distinctive curved claw on each hind foot. Velociraptors are built for hunting. They're fast, agile, intelligent. They hunt cooperatively in packs. Each individual might be small, but together they're formidable. There's Deinonychus, slightly larger than Velociraptor, but with the same design. Fast, smart, cooperative hunters. These smaller theropods represent a different evolutionary strategy than the giant predators. They're built for agility and intelligence rather than pure size. But of course, we can't talk about Cretaceous theropods without talking about the largest predator that ever lived, Tyrannosaurus rex. T-Rex appears near the very end of the Cretaceous, in the last few million years before the extinction. It's a peak predator, a culmination of 165 million years of theropod evolution. T-Rex is enormous, about 40 feet long, about 12 tons. Its teeth are the size of bananas, serrated for tearing through flesh and bone. Its bite force is estimated at over 12,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush a car. But T-Rex is not just a killing machine. Recent evidence suggests it was more sophisticated than we once thought. T-Rex had good eyesight, it had a good sense of smell, its brain was proportionally large for a reptile, it possibly hunted actively, pursuing prey at speeds up to 25 miles per hour, or it possibly scavenged, using its incredible sense of smell to find carrion. Probably it did both, hunting when it could, scavenging when it had to. In a world of large herbivores, there would be plenty of both opportunities. What's remarkable about T-Rex is that it represents an evolutionary path that had been building for millions of years. It's not an accident that the largest predator ever evolved in the Cretaceous. It's the result of millions of years of theropods getting larger, getting more sophisticated, refining their predatory abilities. But let's not forget about another group of dinosaurs that became incredibly successful in the Cretaceous: the duck-billed dinosaurs, or hadrosaurs. Hadrosaurs are ornithischians, herbivores. They're large, up to 40 feet long or more. They're bipedal or quadrupedal, depending on the species. And most distinctively, they have a special dental adaptation. Hadrosaurs have hundreds of tiny teeth packed into dental batteries, multiple rows of teeth in each jaw. When one tooth wears out, another grows in to replace it. This allows them to process enormous quantities of tough plant material. Different hadrosaurs have different head shapes. Some have crests, bony protrusions on the skull, some are flat-headed. The crests might have been used for vocalization, sound chambers that amplified calls. They might have been used for visual display, or both. One remarkable hadrosaur is Parasaurolophus, which has a long, curved crest extending backward from its head. Inside this crest are hollow tubes connected to the nasal passages. When air moves through these tubes, it could produce sounds, possibly used for communication within groups. This suggests that hadrosaurs were social creatures. They might have lived in herds. They might have communicated with each other. They might have had social structures. In fact, fossil evidence supports this. Bone beds accumulations of bones from multiple individuals of the same species suggest that hadrosaurs lived in groups. Trackways show multiple individuals moving together. Nesting sites show that different age groups were found together. Hadrosaurs might have been the most successful herbivores of the later Cretaceous. They were numerous, diverse, and widespread. They dominated many ecosystems. Let's pause for a moment and think about what we've witnessed in the evolution of dinosaurs. From Eoraptor, a small bipedal predator, we've watched dinosaurs evolve into an enormous diversity of forms. We've seen sauropods grow to impossible sizes. We've seen herbivores develop elaborate defenses: spikes, plates, armor, horns, frills. We've seen predators become more sophisticated, more specialized, more adapted to different hunting strategies. We've seen the development of behaviors, social grouping, nesting, possibly parental care. We've seen the evolution of communication through crests and displays and possibly vocalizations. The dinosaurs of the Cretaceous are not simple reptiles. They're sophisticated creatures, adapted to specific environments, with complex behaviors and social structures. And this is where the story gets sad. The end, the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction. We're now at the very end of the Cretaceous period. We're about 66 million years ago. The dinosaurs have dominated the Earth for 165 million years. They've continued to evolve. They diversified into thousands of species. Today, there are over 10,000 species of birds alive. Every bird you see, every robin, every sparrow, every eagle, every owl, every penguin is a dinosaur. It's a descendant of theropod dinosaurs. The lineage has continued, unchanged in its fundamental nature, for 66 million years since the extinction. When you see a bird catching insects, you're seeing theropod predatory behavior. When you see a bird building a nest, you're seeing behavior descended from theropods that built nests and possibly cared for their young. When you see a bird using tools or showing intelligence, you're seeing the descendants of some of the smartest creatures of the Cretaceous. The dinosaurs didn't go extinct, they transformed. They evolved, they adapted to the new world, and they survive today in the form of birds. Let's think about what the dinosaurs mean to us. 165 million years, these creatures dominated the Earth. They were successful beyond imagination. They evolved into thousands of species, each adapted to its environment. They developed complex behaviors, social structures, and possibly even a kind of culture. And then, in a moment, it ended. An impact from space, a catastrophe that they couldn't have anticipated, couldn't have prepared for. The greatest extinction event of the age. But what does this tell us? It tells us that nothing is permanent, that even the most successful, the most dominant, the most impressive creatures can be wiped out by forces beyond their control. It tells us that life is fragile, that existence is precarious, that the world can change in ways we can't predict. But it also tells us something hopeful. Life survives, it adapts, it evolves into new forms. The extinction of dinosaurs was devastating, but it wasn't the end of life. It was the beginning of a new chapter. It was the opportunity for mammals to diversify and eventually give rise to human beings. If dinosaurs had never gone extinct, we might not exist. Humans are, in a strange way, the beneficiaries of that cosmic catastrophe. A final meditation as we drift back to the present moment. Think about what you've witnessed tonight. You've traveled 165 million years into the past. You've watched as dinosaurs emerged, evolved, diversified. You've seen them become the dominant creatures on Earth, adapting to every environment, developing extraordinary features. You've watched them at the height of their power, in the Cretaceous, evolved into their most sophisticated forms, intelligent, social, diverse. And you've witnessed the moment it ended, the moment when the world changed forever. The dinosaurs are gone, but they're not really gone. They live on in birds. They live on in the fossil record, in the bones and footprints and trackways that tell us their story. They live on in our imagination, in our wonder about what came before us. And there's something profound in that, in knowing that there were creatures so remarkable, so successful, so diverse, that lived for longer than we've been a species. In knowing that the world they knew is gone forever, and yet the echoes of their existence reach across 66 million years to touch us. We're connected to them across time. The atoms that made up the dinosaurs are still here. They're in the rocks, the soil, the atmosphere. Some of them might be in you, in the molecules of your body. The ancient and the modern are connected. And the dinosaurs remind us of something important, that change is constant, that the world is always transforming, that what seems permanent is actually temporary, that we are living in a moment, a specific point in the vast history of Earth, and that moment will pass. But tonight, as you rest, you carry with you the knowledge of those ancient creatures. You carry the wonder of their existence, the majesty of their forms, the mystery of their behaviors. Sleep well, knowing that you're part of a planet with a deep history, that you're living on a world that has transformed countless times, that you're a product of millions of years of evolution, reaching back to the dinosaurs and beyond. The dinosaurs are gone, but their story remains. And you are part of that story's continuation. Rest now. Let the dreams of ancient worlds carry you into sleep. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Sleep channel tonight. We hope this journey through time brought you peace and wonder as you drifted towards sleep. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing to our channel. We create new deep sleep stories, meditations, and journeys every week, each one designed to help you rest deeply and wake refreshed. Until next time, sleep well. May your dreams be filled with prehistoric wonders and ancient mysteries. We'll be here whenever you need us, whenever you want to drift away into stories of our world's beautiful, transforming history. Good night from the Deep Sleep channel. We will cross paths again soon.